Bayonetta 3 stuff.
Yeah, I have.
Oh shoot, I didn't bring up the article. I already forgot her name.
It's Helena Taylor.
Hellena Taylor, yeah. So if you didn't know, basically, I think Bayonetta 3 should be out, right? I think it's already out.
I think came out
But
this week.
basically, to kind of combat the launch of the game, Helena Taylor had come out and said that her fans of Bayonetta, should boycott the game. And this is probably three weeks ago when she did this. But she wanted people to boycott the game because she claimed she was offered $4,000. She wasn't really clear on anything. She just said she was offered $4,000 to do all of the voice work for the game, which seems kind of crazy, right? For a main, voice actor, the main lead of your game or movie, to be offered $4,000 for, for sessions. So yeah, basically she had.
Well, she wasn't clear if it was sessions like that. This is where it gets really murky. She
Well, that's what
wasn't
I mean.
clear about
She
what it
wasn't
was
clear on
for. She just
anything.
said
She didn't. Yeah,
$4,000 to reprise her role as
that's
Bayonetta.
why I said that. Yeah. And so basically, she kind of was drawing a lot of ire to Nintendo, or not Nintendo, whatever the Bayonetta company.
Platinum
What is
Games.
Platinum Games? Yeah. So they were getting a lot of kind of heavy criticism, and I think after a few days, it had come out that she actually was offered. I think it was a bit more. I think it was like 4,000 plus 15,000 for like multiple sessions. So eventually it ended up just being that she kind of was, I don't want to say kind of, she basically was maybe not lying, but she was leaving out important information as to what was going on. So that's basically everything that happened. I mean, was there any more to it? I don't know if anything ever happened with it.
I mean, there was a little bit. I'm going to start a timer though. Man, have you been keeping up with this metal at all?
I read a couple of things in Kotaku and then I just kind of went off of it. I was like, what the hell is
It
going
was
on
a
here?
big deal for like 3 4 days.
Well, it's
Mm,
been longer than that. Like this has been going on for about 3 weeks, and like every week or so, there's a new piece to the saga. Like first, it was okay, her initial call for a boycott, and everybody was all on her side because of it, because nobody wants to see voice actors paid poorly, and they were all rallying support. But she kind of threw some shade at some, I think, poor choices of people. Like she attacked to a certain extent Jennifer Hale, the person who replaced her as the voice
She's
actor.
like a big actor herself
Yeah,
in
she did
the
voice work
voice
for
acting.
Mass Effect and all this other
Hmm.
stuff. And then Jennifer Hale came back and basically said, "Hey, you should just hear both sides of the story before you make any make up your mind on anything."
Assumptions. Yeah.
And then sure enough, Platinum Games comes out saying, "Nope, what she said wasn't accurate. We actually was like $4,000 per session, averaging up to like $15,000 in total or something." And then it was like, okay, that $4,000 number that she mentioned was just when she turned down the initial offer. That was going to be like to
There's
do
their
a
final
cameo or
offer. Yeah.
something. Um, but I guess apparently Helena Taylor had turned that down, thinking it was disrespectful or whatnot, and had demanded like a six-figure salary, like $125,000 or some nonsense. So,
Hmm.
oh, and that's, I'm not trying to get on what that voice acting is worth. Like $125,000 might be perfectly fine. I don't know. It's not about that. My big thing is just how disingenuous
She
she was
was
at the
very
beginning.
disingenuous about it. Yeah.
And here's the thing: you could argue that she was accurate because the last offer was $4,000 for the cameo. But here's the thing: she chose to weaponize this fan base. Like the way she said what she said, like she left out information, and that was not on accident. Like
You
if
also
she would have,
weaponize social media, like
yeah,
Twitter and the Twitter gang.
like I don't
Sent them
think she
towards
can
people.
feign naivety here, like to be like, "Oh, I just forgot to mention it was actually $15,000." Like that's a pretty big piece of information you should say right up front when you're basically claiming, "No, I was only offered 4,000." So she diminished the offer to make everybody feel bad for her, and then just got blasted because a lot of reputable sources like Bloomberg and others all
Hmm.
said, "Yeah, we have sources, and they've seen, I guess, contracts or paperwork saying she was offered more." And ever since then, she's just been on blast. So I don't know. Definitely am not in her camp by any means. I don't know where you guys land on it.
But go ahead, gamer.
no, I think for something like that, um, I mean, if you're gonna go back on saying something like that, that seems kind of strange to me.
And that's the thing too, like she didn't deny any of these claims. Like once they finally said, "Oh yeah, we actually offered her 15,000," she came out and said, "Oh yeah, that's true." So it's just like, it's not even like she tried to refute that claim by any means. So clearly she hid information. That's just, I don't know, that's sketch all the way around.
I still feel like another big problem with this though is like, in a way to defend her, a lot of the big problem is like this the still whole lack of like if you have unions, you have a better understanding of what is proper or what is a good amount of pay. Like I do feel like $4,000 or 15 for, you know, prize, playing the main role of a character in a movie or game. See, now granted, 125 seems like a lot, but like,
well, you got to put it in perspective. I'm not trying to say what any of this should be worth, but I'm trying to remember what the amount of work was, but like I think it was initially like 4 days of like 5 hours each. So it was like 20 hours worth of work. She would have made $15,000. It averaged down to almost $1,000 an hour, which was over union rates, to my understanding, from her original offer. That's not too bad. Now, once again, I'm not trying to say everybody.
She is the main character compared to
but
how
it's
many
also,
other people
I mean, it's contract work. It's different. Like, I'm not saying that maybe she shouldn't have been worth more. I'm not trying to go down that rabbit hole. I mean, clearly, if she was a valuable, piece to this franchise, maybe they should try to sweeten the pot a little bit.
I mean,
but it's not like she was offered nothing.
I do also understand the idea of budgeting, where it's like, I'm sure the company has a certain amount of budget, and it's like, well, would you rather pay the voice actor this much or the people that are actually creating the game? I mean, I don't know.
That's the thing I really don't like about the whole idea of a boycott. Like, okay, so whether you agree the pay rate was fair for this one person, okay, that maybe it's all true and it sucks for Hellena Taylor. To boycott it means every single person who worked on this game, you're now punishing because the game's going to sell poorly, potentially, right? The developers, the artists, people who maybe aren't paid even as well as the voice actor. Like, I feel like that's pretty crappy to call for a boycott like that.
No.
There's our time.
No. Okay. Did you want to get anything else in, Gamer?
Last minute thoughts?
No.
It doesn't sound like you've had your fill of this topic.
I think it's fine.
I can't read you with that big face, man. I have no idea.
I know.
It just seems kind of, I mean, for $1,000 an hour, I mean, I if you're doing voice acting and that's not enough, and you're trying to get your fan base to back you up on it, I don't know.
And the point is, too,
seems kind of strange to me. I just don't like that idea.
And when you do contract work, that's not your only job. It's not like that is the only job she probably would have had all year, right? She'd hopefully do other voice acting work. So, like, you make $15,000 one month, that's pretty good. Next month, hopefully you find another job. Now, once again, you can't guarantee you'll find work in that kind of business.
You won't make 15 grand, but say you make 5 to 10, that's still...
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's what comes along with that territory. So, I don't know. Once again, I'm not saying that the pay was necessarily fair or poor or whatnot. There's definitely an argument to say you should pay these voice actors more, but she came across real sketch about it. She got paid, or potentially offered to pay more than what she said she was going to. I think a lot of people would probably argue it was probably close to fair rate for many people, but either way.